Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. My name is Juanita Williams. I'm a purpose conduit. I am the link to life beyond pain and the channel to discovering purpose. And this is today's Tuesday Truths. We're getting back into Proverbs. The topic for this week is the blame game. And our focal verse is Proverbs 19:3. And it reads like this. People ruin their lives by their own foolishness, and then they are angry at the Lord. Proverbs 19:3 states that a person's own foolishness leads to their ruin, yet they blame God for their misfortune. It highlights the tendency of humans to make poor choices that result in negative consequences, but then they tend to be angry at God rather than taking personal responsibility. So let's dig in a little bit further. Foolishness leads to ruin. This part of the verse emphasizes that destructive choices, driven by a lack of wisdom and understanding, ultimately lead to negative outcomes in a person's life. The heart raging against the Lord, despite causing their own problems. Can I read that again? Despite causing their own problems, individuals often blame God for their suffering or misfortune instead of acknowledging their role in the situation. Taking responsibility. The verse encourages self-reflection and taking ownership of one's own actions rather than playing the blame game and attributing negative consequences to God. Here's an example from the Bible. This verse is often used to illustrate the story of Adam and Eve, where Adam, you know that the serpent beguiled Eve. He tricked her into thinking that they could be godlike. She believed him. She took the fruit from the tree of life that the Lord told them not to eat from. They could eat from any other tree, plant in the garden. Believe that tree of life alone. But being tricked by the enemy, Eve took the fruit. She tasted it and she handed it right off to Adam, who was right there. But that's a teaching for another time. And then he also tasted the fruit. So we use Adam and Eve to illustrate the blame game. Adam blamed Eve, and then let me take that back. Adam blamed Eve and indirectly God for the consequences of eating from the forbidden tree. So instead of Adam taking responsibility for his actions because God gave him the instruction, he gave that to him. He told him, you can eat of every other tree and plant in this garden, every other tree. I ain't gonna add no words to the Bible, but every other tree except the tree of life. Don't touch it. Don't eat none from it. So it was Adam's responsibility to give that message to Eve. I'm assuming that he did. I'm assuming. I don't know. But he still disobeyed the Lord. And he wanted to blame Eve. And because he said, it's this woman that you gave me. So indirectly, he was blaming God. If you hadn't given me this woman, then I wouldn't have ate of that, tasted that fruit from that tree. So let me just keep going. So that is an example from the Bible that's often used for people not taking responsibility for their own actions. Ignoring wisdom. Proverbs often warns against foolishness and dangers of ignoring godly wisdom and advice, which can lead to predictable negative consequences. predictable. If you do this, this is what's going to happen. If you take that route, this is what's going to happen. So it's predictable. So you know what's going to happen. And yet you still make the wrong choice. But then you want to blame God. So ignoring wisdom. Ignoring wisdom can cause you to make foolish choices. And then you'll have to deal with the consequences. So don't blame God for the choices that you make. All right, let me keep going. Let's take accountability. Not taking accountability. Proverbs 19:27 says this: if you stop listening to instruction, my child, you will turn your back on knowledge. Now, I get it. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you've been warned, if you've been told, and then you still do it, that's on you. It's all about the choice. Proverbs 19:8 says this: to acquire wisdom is to love yourself, and people who cherish understanding will prosper. To acquire wisdom is to love yourself. Love yourself by acquiring wisdom. And then people who cherish understanding will prosper. Proverbs 19:16 says this: keep the commandments and keep your life. Despising them leads to death. Proverbs 19:20 says, get all the advice and instruction that you can, so you will be wise for the rest of your life. Get all the instruction and wisdom that you can, so you can be wise for the rest of your life. And always make the right choice. John 16:33 says this: I have told you all this, that you may have peace in me. And this is Jesus talking to the disciples. But this word is for us today as well. Here on earth, you will have many trials and sorrows. But take heart, I have overcome the world. And that's Jesus's encouragement to us that, there are things that we're going to experience, not of our own choice. There are things that we're going to experience, but be encouraged, because you can and you will overcome, because Jesus overcame the world. Even if you are making a choice that you shouldn't make and you're having to deal with the consequences, be encouraged, because you still can overcome, because Jesus overcame. Now here's the final word. Even those who don't believe in God, they acknowledge it, even though you might not believe that, but they do. You want to know how? I know. Because when things go wrong in their lives, they want to blame God instead of taking the consequences for themselves. They have to blame somebody other than themselves. So have you heard this question? If God is so good, then why does he let all this bad stuff happen? Isn't that acknowledging that God is real? Okay. And lastly, I will end with this. And this is a word from the Lord. God says, I can handle the rage. I can handle the rage. I want them to come to salvation. That is a word from the Lord. So as mad as you are at God, play the blame game all you want to. God wants you to come to salvation because he loves you so much. So go ahead and blame him. Go ahead and blame him. And when you get done blaming him, he's still in listen. He wants you to come to salvation. My name is Juanita Williams. I'm a purpose conduit. I am the link to life beyond pain and the channel to discovering purpose. And this is today's Tuesday Truths. Have a wonderful week. May God bless you. May he keep you. May he make his face shine upon you. And may he be gracious to you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.